In this video we are going to see how to resolve vectors into its rectangular components, which is widely used in physics. Let's look at this example. Well, it says Heather is pushing the handle of a lawn mower with a force of 450 newtons. Well, this is our force at an angle of 56 degrees. So we have the magnitude and direction. Now we are going to draw a diagram that shows the resolution of the force that Heather exerts into its rectangular components. And then we are going to find the magnitudes of the horizontal and vertical components of the force. Okay. Now, of course, we need a nice diagram from this picture. Now, our diagram will be something like that. Now, here, this is my vector given, 450 newtons of magnitude with an angle of 56 degrees to the horizontal. The direction is like, let's say, if we have the coordinate plane, it is southwest, right? So, the horizontal and vertical components of my vector will be so that it starts from the tail to the tip. Or if you consider the given vector here as the resultant vector, we have to find the vectors, which is vertical and horizontal vectors, which gives me this resultant vector. So I draw y and x accordingly. So as a result, x and y here are the vectors which are horizontal and vertical components of the given vector. Now, it's obvious that we have a right-angled triangle here. So, by using basic trigonometry, we can find the magnitude of x and y. Well, the diagram was for part A. Now for part B, we will calculate the magnitude. Well, here, cosine of 56 degrees is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is the magnitude of x divided by 450. So, if we do cross multiplication, we have the magnitude of x to be 450 times cosine of 56 degrees. And if we do the calculation, we have the magnitude of x to be approximately 252 newtons. To find the magnitude of y, we will use sine 56 degrees, which is equal to the magnitude of y, which is opposite, divided by 450 newtons, which is the hypotenuse. Cross multiplication will give me the magnitude of y equals to 450 times sine of 56 degrees, which is approximately 373 newtons. This is how I show the resolution of a vector as the horizontal and vertical components and find the magnitudes. Another example is a player kicks a soccer ball so that it leaves the ground with a velocity of 44 feet per second. This is the magnitude, at an angle of 33 degrees with the ground. This is the direction. Draw a diagram in part A, it says, that shows the resolution of this force into its rectangular components. So we are going to have a diagram as the previous example and find the magnitude of the horizontal and vertical components of the velocity. Well, we are going to calculate the magnitudes of the rectangular components. So the diagram will be something like that. We can draw on the picture here. Well, this is the horizontal component, and say this is the vertical component. So again, we have a right-angled triangle here, and we can use basic trigonometry again to calculate the magnitude. So for x, we will calculate the product of 44 and cosine of 33 degrees, and for y, for the magnitude of y, we will calculate the product of 44 and the sine of 33 degrees, and we approximately will have x is 37 feet per second and y is 24 feet per second. These are the approximate values. Now is your turn. In these 4 questions, you are going to draw a diagram and find the magnitude of the horizontal and vertical components. Well, these questions are without any story. And there is this problem after those 4 questions. Now, please solve these questions and show your work to me.